How's everybody doing? Welcome to Tuesday Bible Study. And today, Tuesday, we're in column 3, which is John 17, 13 through 23. Yep. And in Revelation, we're going to go to the next letter. Remember these letters? These letters are parable-esque. They are like a parable. Do not take them as a lot of people get tripped up by listening to a parable and going, oh, that's what hell is. It's eternal torment. See the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Or see, there is free will. You do have choices. Right here in this letter, it says, do this or I will come and remove. No. The 7 letters to the 7 churches, it's the church divided by 7. And today we go through even to the angel. Okay, so we're only going through 11 today. We're going to get into Revelation 2:9, which is a good one. And if we hit that there, get that there, we're going to get we're going to also get the Authorized King James Version. And look for any italic squiggly lines to see if anything is added. Usually there's always something added to a daily study. The word art was added. The word art was added. Oh, geez. I don't know. It's just wanting to act up. Let's try it again. The word art. Let me pause. Well, when I went back to it, it was highlighted. So the highlight took. So art was added. Y'all see anything else? Just one word. That's kind of rare. And it doesn't mean that I didn't miss something. I wonder about Revelation. I don't think we checked yesterday to see if Revelation had added anything. Or if the writers of the King James added a word. I know was added. Oh boy. This really is having a tough time today, isn't it? There it is. I know is there. See all the glitches? It's very glitchy today. Is that some artificial intelligence messing with us? Could be. What are you going to do? You can ask the Holy Spirit to take over and not let the ghost in the machine mess with us, which that's what artificial intelligence is. It's the ghost in the machine. That looks like everything. I know thy works. Yeah. They don't look. So I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and the blasphemy instead of, and I know the blasphemy, but the synagogue, and are not but the synagogue of Satan instead of but are the synagogue of Satan. Both words added. Perfect, no problem. I don't have any problem with that. I'm sure you don't either. The devil shall cast of you into prison. The devil shall cast some of you into prison. Yeah. Sounds about right. In John, Father art in me, Father in me. Yeah, no problems. So let's get on with today's study. By the way, we have somebody new that has joined us. So the daily Bible studies, I think I might know who might have joined us. And if your initials are AR, then, welcome. If not, give us a shout in the comments. Say hello. But anyway, you get the videos that are daily. But if you click playlist, you will go to the beginning of an entire study. Like Romans 11 study, Romans 7 study, the second Daniel study that we just got through doing, John, which we're in right now, James, Ephesians, second Revelation study. And there's always two Bible studies combined. I'm either going back and forth between Daniel and Revelation, which I used to have at the beginning of the study. Now I'm moving them towards the end of the study since I've done Daniel and Revelation a couple of times. But there's the first Daniel study. So what you'll do, let's just say you click on, you want to go through the book of Ephesians with me.
All right, buddy.
Well, you're going to start at Revelation 5:10 through 6:2, and then you're going to start off at Ephesians 1:1 through 8. So when you start the Ephesians playlist, we're already into Revelation. So that's where you'll be. I'm sorry that it's so confusing that way. But you can fast forward and just get to the Ephesians study if you want. Like I said, I have them written in order. But since I've done Revelation and Daniel so much, and it wouldn't hurt you just to listen to the Revelation study. You're going to get a nugget, I would suspect, out of most every study. I try to always either add something or go back over something that you need to keep hearing. Mainly because you're getting unwired from all the false teachings that you've gotten in these churches that are extremely corrupt in their truth. And now come I to thee. And these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joyful fulfilled in themselves. Well, he doesn't love the world. He just got through saying in yesterday's study, his prayer is not for the world. And remember, you have to remember that the word world let's just key in John 3:16. World, Greek, 2889. It's the word cosmos. The first definition is what God so loved. It says an apt and harmonious. Apt means appropriate. I've looked it up. Means an appropriate and harmonious arrangement. What is that? Arranging of his sheep, of his kingdom, of his family, of his order, of his law at the foundation of the world. Ephesians 1:4-5. For he has chosen us in him before the foundation. So that's the first definition of cosmos and what should have been incorporated in John 3:16. John 3:16, unfortunately, is mistranslated by the Catholic Erasmus in what they call Textus Receptus, the received text, which is the only documentation we have of transcribing the original Greek over to something that could be used to write the King James. And then the King James was written by half Catholics. So And there's a book called God's Secretaries that speaks of all the arguing and fussing and fighting that the Catholics and the Protestants did with each other over the entire writing of the King James Bible. That's why Hollywood did a movie called Lost in Translation. The truth has been lost in translation. So every time you see the word world, you're going to think it's the whole world. And most of the time, it's the harmonious arrangement of his sheep. The inhabitants of the earth, men and human family, if God truly loved them, he would bring them all to repentance, just like it says in Hebrews 12, 6-8. For whom the Lord loveth, in other words, all that he loves, he chastens and scourges every son that he receives. Starts off with, for whom that he loves. And then you go to John 6, 44 and John 6, 65, where both clearly state that you cannot come to Jesus unless it is given to you by God and or unless God draws you to him. You have no free will. For whom he did predestinate, them he also called. You have to get the call. You have to be called to the Lord. You don't reach out and call to the Lord. The Lord reaches out and calls his sheep, and he knows everyone by name, and he loses not one of his sheep. That's also John 6, but that one's verse 39. So that's John 6:39, John 6:44, and John 6:65. So just like we didn't read yesterday, we read today, things I speak in the world that they might have joy. Things I speak in the harmonious arrangement is what it should say, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. Who's themselves? The harmonious arrangement. Well, isn't that something? Having a rough day today. Let's read it in the New Living and then come back and read it in the King James. Now I am coming to you. I told them many things while I was with them in this world, so that they would be fulfilled with my joy. Okay, well, that makes more sense. I have given them your word, and the world hates them. See, God doesn't love the world, and the world hates us. That's why Jesus said, I've called you out of the world. He doesn't love the world. And the world hates them because they do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. Well, I thought God loved the whole world. That's what we're trying to tell you. He most certainly does not. Jesus said, Matthew 15:24, I only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm not asking you to take them out of the world, but to keep them safe from the evil one. They do not belong to this world any more than I do. Make them holy by your truth. Teach them your word, which is truth. Just as you sent me into the world, I am sending them into the world. And I give myself. So what definition of world? The circle of the earth. The earth. Yeah. Just as I sent them into the circle of the earth, I am sending them into the circle of the earth. So you're sending them to travel about the earth, or to move about the world. There is no such thing as a universe. You can't get outside the firmament, which is just right above you. They've lied to you about space. That's a very long story, but it is what it is. So a lot of these definitions are just to make excuses for what the general belief is out there. Just as you sent me to travel on foot, I am sending them to do some traveling on foot. Basically is another way to say it. I keep forgetting when I highlight it, messes that whole thing up. And I give myself as a holy sacrifice for them so they can be made holy by your truth. I'm praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me through their message. Exactly. It's not just for the disciples. I pray that they will all be one, just as you and I are one, as you are in me, Father, I am in you, and may they be in us, so that the harmonious arrangement will believe you sent me, not the world, not the inhabitants of the earth. I just highlighted that. We can go back to the King James, that's fine. Yeah, that the harmonious arrangement may know that you sent me and has loved them as thou hast loved me. Yeah. See there, I highlighted it and it broke. All right, let's move on to Revelation. Let's hope their website gets cleaned up at some point. And to the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Isn't Donald Trump on the temple coin over there? Yeah. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. You can take that literally. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. That's figuratively. But be thou faithful unto death, and all sheep will, and I will give thee a crown of life. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt in the second death. Well, there's your second death right there. Second death reference. All right, so that was very quick. But we know that during the Great Tribulation, people will be thrown into prison, because it said the exact same thing in the book of Daniel. Daniel 11 or Daniel 12, I forget. We just studied it, and I can't even remember. Oh. Woo, excuse me. All right, anyway, love y'all very much. Ask questions anytime.